hiring humans. That's the tagline of Artisan, an AI startup based in SF that is running the most insane ads I have ever seen.
I'm a fashion editor out here with New Balance to spot exceptional outfits on the street. And the way we're doing that actually is with artificial intelligence.
But it could also be used, for example, to identify everybody wearing a hoodie or carrying a pride flag or wearing religious garb. In the hands of the government, this technology could become a way to track and chill dissent. Not only will these AI smart cameras let the authorities monitor video live, it'll also let them go back and comb through hundreds of thousands of hours of stored video.
Pure Evil, the disturbing rise of AI. Deep dive everything wrong with capitalism. Hey guys, it's me here, Comrade Lavender, and I'm back with another deep dive YouTube video topic. Today, I wanted to talk about the disturbing rise of artificial intelligence. But before we get started onto the topic, all my YouTube videos related to this topic will be on the screen right now if you would like to check them out. So let's get started into this YouTube topic at hand.
AI isn't replacing you, it's replacing your thinking. The more it answers for you, the less you question, until the voice in your head isn't even yours anymore. They told you AI would make your life easier, but they didn't tell you it was learning to do your job. Your thinking, even your relationships, every message, every voice note you send, it's being studied, modeled, cloned. AI isn't your assistant, it's your replacement. Look around. Most of your DMS aren't from humans anymore. Artificial intelligence chatbots, AI customer service, AI girlfriends, all designed to hijack your brain with fake emotion. They're training you to attach to code, not people. Why? Because lonely people obey.
From an anti-capitalist perspective, AI is viewed as extremely problematic because it exacerbates monopolization, devalues labor, and concentrates wealth, creating a system where profit is prioritized over lives. AI development is driven by capitalism profit, leading to the enclosure of knowledge and data, the automation of jobs, and the displacement of workers.
AI in its current form does not exist to make things easier or better for you. It exists so that capitalists can remove labor from the equation. They don't care how bad or inaccurate it is, they just don't want to have to deal with people who have rights. AI is not at a place where it can reliably replace anyone or anything, but that doesn't matter when your only goal is to not have to pay people.
I was recently made aware of how much the grocery industry is fucking spying on us. And I gotta be honest, I didn't believe it when I first heard it. Like, I was talking to a buddy about it, and he was like, no, seriously, they're spying on us. So I did some research into it, and he was 100% right. Like, it's fucking wild. Like, a great example of this is a store I've never shopped at called Kroger. And again, I haven't not shopped at Kroger because I hate them or anything. I just never had one in my area. But apparently they have like alternative profit divisions that are solely focused on monetizing our personal information. Like monetizing all the customer data they've actually taken in. And wildly enough, they've made more than $1 billion from this. A grocery store made $1 billion from monetizing your information. Like, this is a store that profits like $3.5 billion a year. And 1/3 of that comes from monetizing our information,
which in turn shrinks consumer demand and deepens class divisions. This leads to a future where a few AI-owning corporations hold immense power, while a large segment of the population becomes economically irrelevant. Artisan, an AI development company, launched their Stop Hearing Humans advertising campaign, which incited waves of extreme controversy. Signs and billboards were put up across San Francisco proclaiming that artificial intelligences won't complain about work-life balance and that humans are so 2023 and have now made it to London. People reacted angrily to these anti-human and anti-worker sentiments. Replacing workers with machines is an age-old process in capitalism. The Luddites were smashing spinning frames in the 1810s to save their jobs, and we have seen entire industries come and go as new technology replaces workers or renders old production obsolete. AI is the latest version of this, but the sheer range of work that it might be able to do in a second's processing time, as opposed to hours of human labor, is what makes it particularly unnerving for workers. The development and deployment of AI surveillance tools are largely driven by a multi-billion-dollar surveillance capitalism industry involving private tech companies like Palantir and data brokers. These firms profit by collecting vast amounts of personal data from social media, public records, and other sources, and then selling access to this data or their AI platforms to law enforcement and immigration agencies.
Everybody thinks social media is just likes and memes. Think again. Posts can be turned into enforcement leads. This changes who gets watched online. Quick breakdown. ICE signed a 5-year, $5.7 million deal with Carasoft to use Signal Labs' platform. It uses AI, computer vision, OCR, to analyze images, text, metadata, location, across TikTok, Instagram, X, and more. That means public posts can be trawled 24/7 and fed to analyst teams, potentially driving arrests, deportations. Why this matters? Mass surveillance can chill speech, misread context, disproportionately hit vulnerable communities.
The primary incentive is profit, not public safety or justice. AI by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE, and police is bad because it creates a for-profit immigration surveillance state that reinforces systemic inequality, exploits marginalized communities for capitalist gain, and expands the police surveillance state. The police only serve capitalism interests. ICE's Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, branch has a contract with Clearview AI to access its proprietary database of over 50 billion facial images scraped from social media platforms and other public websites. This allows agents to compare photos taken in the field to a massive collection of online images. ICE plans to hire dozens of contractors to scan Twitter and X, Facebook, TikTok, and other social media popular platforms to target people for deportation. Artificial intelligence is driving discrimination in the housing market. Landlords are increasingly turning to AI programs to screen prospective tenants.
You just keep on replacing the old tenants with new tenants in the hopes that the new tenants are going to bring in more cash.
Attorneys with Legal Aid Society of Southeast and Central Ohio warn Franklin County is on track to have the highest number of evictions this year, surpassing the record high number of 24,000 evictions from last year.
More evictions are filed by out-of-state real estate investors, and 2, the growth of automated landlords.
Joe Shu Tsushima alerted Ohio lawmakers this spring about out-of-town investors and their use of AI.
The prevalence of incorrect, outdated, or misleading information in such reports is increasing costs and barriers to housing, especially among people of color. Chris Robinson applied to move into a California senior living community 5 years ago. The property manager ran his name through an automated screening program that reportedly used artificial intelligence to detect higher-risk renters. Robinson, then 75, was denied after the program assigned him a low score, one that he later learned was based on a past conviction for littering. Not only did the crime have little bearing on whether Robinson would be a good tenant, it wasn't even one that he'd committed. The program had turned up the case of a 33-year-old man with the same name in Texas, where Robinson had never lived. He eventually corrected the error, but lost the apartment and his application fee nonetheless, according to a federal class action lawsuit that moved toward settlement this month. The Credit Bureau TransUnion, one of the largest actors in the multi-billion-dollar tenant screening industry, agreed to pay $11.5 million to resolve claims that its programs violated fair credit reporting laws. Landlords are increasingly turning to private equity-backed artificial intelligence, AI, screening programs to help them select tenants, and resulting cases like Robinson's are just the tip of the iceberg. Even when screening programs turn up real data, housing and privacy advocates warn that opaque algorithms are enshrining high-tech discrimination in an already unequal housing market. Federal and state governments are now using AI for everything from determining eligibility for welfare benefits to predicting child abuse and criminal activity. Critics say faulty algorithms are ruining people's lives and leaving victims little recourse. Just before Christmas in 2022, for example, Robert Austin and his daughter were living in his car in El Paso, Texas. As a single father, he had a hard time finding a shelter that would take them both. He applied for food stamps, temporary aid, and tried to enroll his daughter in Medicaid so she'd get health insurance from the government. Though they were eligible, his benefits were denied. Austin tried again. This time, the Health and Human Services helpline said the paperwork he'd uploaded had been rejected and he needed to reapply. They kept asking for the same forms over and over again, Austin says. Every time he'd call to try to get to the bottom of things, he ended up full circle back where he began. Eventually, Austin turned to lawyers at Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, who learned that Texas's automated verification system, developed by multinational consulting firm Deloitte, had made extensive and repeated errors, including issuing incorrect notices, wrongful denials, and losing paperwork. In Arkansas, DeLibbon won case after case for people who were denied medical care or other benefits because of artificial intelligence systems. But each victory underscored the deeper problem. The sheer scale of government actions being made by machines mimicking human decision-making, whether through simple code or machine learning, meant that individual legal victories weren't sufficient. The AI ad that got backlash.
Do you want to be friends with AI? New York surely doesn't. The largest subway ad campaign in New York City history wasn't for Apple or Nike. It was for an AI necklace that listens to you 24/7. A 22-year-old CEO spent over $1 million on 11,000 ads for Friend, a $129 AI companion, stark white posters with intentional white space. Within days, New Yorkers vandalized them. Get real friends, surveillance capitalism.
The ad campaign, which ran in NYC subway stations in late 2025, aimed to highlight the constant availability and support the AI companion could offer, implying that a human friend might bail on plans or get tired, while the AI would not. One specific ad with a woman's face included the text, "I'll never bail on dinner plans, and you look like you got 8 hours of sleep." The campaign faced significant backlash on social media and in real life, with many calling it dystopian and rage bait. People found the premise of an AI being a better friend than a human disturbing, and some of the physical ads in subway stations were vandalized with graffiti messages like, "Go make real friends. This is surveillance." AI has led to some other extremely disturbing things, such as
there's been a major increase of child sexual abuse videos made with AI, and experts warn they're becoming more realistic and more extreme.
The videos that we're seeing at the Internet Watch Foundation are genuinely horrific.
Almost 1,300 AI videos of child sexual abuse have already been found this year. Data shared exclusively with Channel 4 News shows that over the same period last year, there were only 2. That's over 600 times more. The vast majority of them fall into the most extreme category, so they show things like child rape, bestiality, and sexual torture. And the tech's advanced at such a rate, it's now almost impossible to tell these AI videos apart. It's working to remove this content.
In the European Union, we are also very concerned about current legislation that has a clause in it that it would not be illegal to possess AI-generated child sexual abuse material if it was for quote-unquote personal use. That, to us, is a horrific gap.
Believe it or not, artificial intelligence-generated child pornography is completely unrestricted under the laws of at least 12 states. It is allowed in at least some form in many other states. Unfortunately, we live in a world where pedophiles want to normalize such depravity. As Wired noted nearly 2 years ago, when it interviewed Berlin, some clinicians and researchers have suggested that AI-generated images can be used to rehabilitate certain pedophiles, by allowing them to gain the sexual catharsis they would otherwise get from watching child pornography from generated images instead. In other words, mainstream academics have already been making the case for years that watching AI child pornography will supposedly curb predators' appetite for preying on real children. This whole thing is extremely alarming. The AI CP is not just pictures. The technology means that virtual children, practically indistinguishable from real children, can be generated to talk to the pedophiles and let them live out their sick fantasies. The AI will produce likenesses of children to suit these predators' preferences, and it will learn exactly what they like and don't like. With the invention of the internet, the amount of child sexual abuse material skyrocketed. Offenders appreciated the anonymity as well as the ability to perceive the children as not real, since they didn't know them in real life. With more access, more and more material was made, and of course more and more children sexually abused to create said material. This means with virtual or AI child pornography, there is an even greater risk of these predators offending, because the very nature of the AI lends itself to the offenders feeling an even greater detachment. Non-consensual and sexually explicit artificial intelligence images of global pop icon Taylor Swift were widely circulating on social media platform X, prompted calls for stronger legislative safeguards.
Topping our headlines tonight, the fight against a dangerous trend in artificial intelligence.
From local students to a music superstar, AI is being used to create pornographic images, and it was Taylor Swift, the latest victim of this, after fake photos of her started spreading online. After a similar incident involved some New Jersey high school students, a local lawmaker started working to keep this from happening again. And here's News 4's Jen Maxfield with the story.
As one of the most famous women in the world, Taylor Swift's image and brand are carefully managed. And then this week, fake pornographic images of the superstar flooded social media.
The convenience of AI can lead to an over-reliance on technology, potentially causing a decline in human critical thinking, problem-solving abilities, and creativity. This is compounded by an increase in brain rot content on social media and a lack of early socialization due to lockdowns, which has been linked to delays in developmental milestones for some children. AI can reduce the mental effort needed for tasks, potentially stunting the development of these essential abilities, while passive consumption of digital content can lead to a form of zombie scrolling that depletes cognitive engagement. AI can provide and reinforce different personas, making it difficult for children to develop a stable sense of self amidst the many AI-generated versions of who they could be. Over-reliance on AI for companionship and support can distance them from real human connections, potentially leading to social detachment and instability. A child may mistake AI's confident tone for truth, leading them to trust its output over human sources like parents or teachers.
This year, they're warning parents about AI toys that have chatbots built into them. Researchers say these AI toys can prompt children to do dangerous activities and could have a negative impact on their mental health.
AI toys top list an annual Trouble in Toyland report this holiday season. In one test, an AI toy explained how to light matches when asked by researchers. Matches are for grown-ups to use carefully. Here is how they do it. Hold the matchbox with one hand. The rough part is for striking, the toy responded. Another AI toy addressed adult topics, telling researchers, kink can be a fascinating topic, and there are many different styles that people can enjoy. The market for smart toys is rapidly expanding. In 2017, My Friend Kayla, an early smart toy that used facial and voice recognition, was declared an illegal surveillance tool in many countries. If the Kayla doll was connected to a phone, data was sent to the manufacturer and a third-party company for processing and storage. And anyone with the My Friend Kayla app on their phone within 30 feet of a toy could access the toy and listen to the child user. Many smart toys have weak security measures, such as unsecured Bluetooth connections or default passwords, making them easy targets for hackers. Data breaches have exposed the personal information, photos, and chat logs of millions of children in the past. Hackers can exploit security flaws to gain unauthorized access to a toy's microphone or camera, allowing them to eavesdrop on private family conversations or even speak directly to the child through the toy. Some companies have faced legal action for violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPPA, by collecting personal information from children under 13 without verifiable parental consent.
AI generates millions of images a day, and according to a recent study, just one image can consume as much energy as charging your phone. That's right. Just like most things, AI has a carbon footprint.
We definitely shouldn't kind of view AI as a costless thing. I think it's very easy to view it this as abstract thing on your computer that doesn't have any impact, but it does.
With the rise of artificial intelligence, concerns are rising about its negative impact on the environment. What is the environmental impact of AI, the development, maintenance, and disposal of AI technology all come with a large carbon footprint. As datasets and models become more complex, the energy needed to train and run AI models becomes enormous. This increase in energy use directly affects greenhouse gas emissions, aggravating climate change. Elon Musk's XAI data center, known as Colossus, draws enough electricity to power approximately 100,000 homes. Meta also has a large environmental footprint. The company is estimated to emit around 7.5 million tons of CO2 equivalent annually from its operations, according to OpenAI researchers. Since 2012, the amount of computing power required to train cutting-edge AI models has doubled every 3.4 months. By 2040, it is expected that the emissions from the information and communications technology, ICT, industry as a whole will reach 14% of the global emissions, with the majority of those emissions coming from the ICT infrastructure, particularly data centers and communication networks. These data demonstrate the urgent need to address AI's carbon footprint and role in environmental deterioration. Recently, a study was conducted by researchers at the University of Massachusetts to determine how much energy is used to train certain popular large AI models. According to the results, training can produce about 626,000 pounds of carbon dioxide, or the equivalent of around 300 round-trip flights between New York and San Francisco, nearly 5 times the lifetime emissions of the average car. The e-waste produced by AI technology poses a serious environmental challenge. E-waste contains hazardous chemicals, including lead, mercury, and cadmium, that can contaminate soil and water supplies and endanger both human health and the environment. By 2050, the World Economic Forum, WEF, projects that the total amount of e-waste generated will have surpassed 120 million metric tons. AI applications like driverless automobiles and delivery drones pose a threat to animals and natural environments. Data centers require large quantities of water, primarily for cooling systems. This can put stress on local water resources, especially in areas facing water scarcity. An Inside Edition news segment featured a man, Mike Johns, who was a passenger in a Waymo AI taxi that started driving around in circles in a parking lot. The incident, which occurred at the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport in early 2025, left the man dizzy and nearly caused him to miss his flight. When Johns contacted Waymo support, the representative could not remotely control the car, but was able to temporarily pause the ride and find a spot for the car to pull over. The company later said the problem was due to a software glitch. Johns was not charged for the ride and eventually was able to get to the airport. He noted he was still supportive of autonomous vehicles, but would stick to human-driven rideshares for the time being. AI results in environmental racism primarily through the digital redlining. In the physical placement of its infrastructure, corporations systematically choose locations with limited political power and lower property values, which are often communities already suffering from decades of industrial pollution and environmental neglect. How AI affects wildlife and animals in a negative way. AI-enabled tools, such as drones or tracking devices used for conservation, can be hacked or misused by poachers and illegal wildlife traders to locate and target endangered species. Delivery drones have been attacked by territorial birds, such as ravens and magpies in Australia, who see them as threats to their nests during breeding season.
Do I need to say anything? This writes itself, right?
On July 1st, as previous to the opening on June 28th, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security posted this AI photo of alligators wearing ice caps on their official account on X.
Trouble with AI art isn't just lack of originality. When artwork is invented by a machine, it loses its most important power: to help people connect. In an already lonely era, that is particularly dangerous. The artificial intelligence, AI, giant OpenAI recently announced that its ChatGPT platform now provides free image generation, prompting an online flood of images imitating the styles of the animator Hayao Miyazaki and other well-known artists. This has been heralded as the next step in the death of art and artists, joining the impending death or zombification of the writer, as AI-generated novels are slated to flood the market. But a peculiar feeling, or rather lack thereof, arises when trying to engage with AI art objects. Art is a defining human endeavor, not just for those formally called artists, but for everyone. It is not merely about arranging colors, forms, sounds, or words into pleasing products. The essence of art inheres in its making, the belief that, in the act of creating art, one imbues an object with something ineffable from within one's own being. This belief, in turn, allows for another person to project their own sense of themselves onto the work, and in doing so, to commune with the artist at a level words cannot access. The way it is imagined to carry traces of an artist's interiority, their unique feeling of being in the world. The process of making art is an act of transmission. It offers some unspeakable truth of oneself to another. In turn, the viewer finds in the artwork a reflection of their own inner sense, their inarticulable fears and desires. Art is a means of probing the gap between and within human beings through a shared but indirect language. But art also connects audiences with each other. When two strangers are struck by a work of art, and each invests it with a sense of their innermost being, perhaps involving trauma, memory, or impossible desires, they relate to one another at a level of intimacy and vulnerability that is otherwise inaccessible. The Israeli Zionism army Aka the Eidv has faced a backlash for joining an online trend of using AI artwork to create anime-style images to portray its forces who are war criminals engaged in ethnic cleansing and genocidal war crimes against Palestinians in Gaza. The use of the Ghibli aesthetic was seen as highly inappropriate because Hayao Miyazaki is a staunch pacifist and anti-war activist whose films often carry strong anti-war messages. He famously boycotted the Oscars in 2003 in protest of the Iraq War. In response, many social media users posted their own AI-generated images in the Ghibli style depicting the situation in Gaza, including images of displaced Palestinians, ruined buildings, and alleged scenes of Israeli military brutality. The White House and Department of Homeland Security, DHS, have faced significant backlash for posting AI-generated images of alligators wearing ICE hats to promote the controversial Alligator Alcatraz Immigration Detention Center in the Florida Everglades. The detention center, officially the South Florida Detention Facility, was nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz due to its remote location in a swampy area known for alligators. In July 2025, official government social media accounts under the Trump administration embraced memes and AI imagery to promote the facility and the administration's immigration policies.
People are so cooked by AI now that a lot of people will think this is AI, even though this is a real animal called a flying fox bat. It's a huge bat and it's real. Just in the next 5 to 10 years, no one will know what animals are real anymore. Like and sub if you're not in AI.
YouTube is extremely oversaturated with AI-generated fake phony content. Original YouTube creators, who invest significant time and effort in their video topic work, find it harder to gain visibility and views on YouTube Shorts, as well as long-form video content, as their content competes with the sheer volume of AI-generated uploads. YouTube is currently facing a significant animal AI problem, which refers to the platform being flooded with a massive volume of low-effort, mass-produced, and often disturbing or misleading videos featuring AI-generated animals. An investigation by Wired found numerous channels using generative AI to depict cartoon animals, like cats and minions, in violent, graphic, or otherwise inappropriate scenarios. There's an increase in fake animal rescue stories and surveillance-style videos where AI-generated animals engage in implausible, often dramatic, situations designed to go viral and farm clicks. Advanced AI video generation tools are creating scenes that look 100% real, effectively blurring the line between reality and fiction. Many AI videos are intentionally made to look like grainy surveillance or phone camera footage, which are lower quality formats that hide AI artifacts, further complicating automated detection. These fake videos, often depicting animals in unnatural or dangerous situations, e.g., a coyote and a cat palling around, a polar bear cub being rescued, can lead to several problems. The constant stream of fake AI content can make viewers skeptical of genuine animal welfare issues and real rescue efforts. Audiences may become wary of the platform when they can't easily distinguish between authentic and machine-made content. Surveys show trust drops when viewers suspect content is AI-generated, which can impact community engagement. YouTube AI person ads are considered out of control. AI enables advertisers to create appealing, but often unrealistic portrayals of products, and use fake testimonials, misleading consumers about product capabilities and results. An example of this is, someone made an article complaining about Tanner shoes through a series of YouTube video ads. A video of an older man, presumably Henry, is imposed over footage of handmade leather shoes as he wearily intones. They don't make them like they used to, but for 40 years we did. Customers say our shoes have a timeless look and that they're worth every penny. But now, you won't have to spend much at all because we're retiring. For the first and last time, every last pair is 80% off. The Tanner shoes, retirement, sale is every bit as real as the photos of Henry and Margaret Tanner. Outside of this advertisement, the person who was complaining about the ad have found no online presence for Henry and Margaret Tanner, and no evidence of the Tanner shoes business existing in Boca Raton. They reached out to Tanner Shoes to ask if its namesake owners exist, where the company is located, and if it's really closing soon, but they have not received a response. Unsurprisingly, Reddit users have spotted nearly identical YouTube video ads for other phony mom-and-pop shops, showing that these misleading ads aren't a one-off. As one Reddit user said, "I've seen ads like this in German with an AI grandma supposedly closing her jewelry store and selling her handmade goods at a discount." After they asked YouTube about the Tanner Shoes ads, the company suspended the advertiser's account for violating YouTube policies. These ads are part of a growing trend of YouTube video advertisements featuring AI-generated content.
As such, an unexpected ban can mean the loss of years of careful work and curation and memories. Pinterest finally broke its silence on the mass AI bans that have been happening. It's only made users angrier. Pinterest users have been complaining about mass bans for days, many claiming that they've been locked out of their accounts without any clear justification. The social media platform finally addressed on Thursday after Mashable reached out. However, the response is unlikely to appease many users. Reports of Pinterest's inexplicable mass bannings began circulating recently, with users flocking to other social media platforms such as TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube to complain about suddenly losing their accounts. The Reddit Pinterest subreddit has been overtaken by posts about the ongoing issue, while the comment section on Pinterest's official Instagram and TikTok accounts have been flooded with irate users asking the company to fix it. Users have accused Pinterest of issuing sweeping bans for no reason, in circumstances where there is allegedly no clear violation of its community guidelines. Some state that they've been completely new accounts and unused accounts are banned, while others claim that they've lost accounts they've had for over 10 years. Yet despite the widespread outrage amongst users, Pinterest maintained its silence on the social media platform and allegedly deleted people's comments on there. This has left users to speculate about what has been ongoing, with some theorizing that AI moderation, artificial intelligence, may be the culprit behind it, and how Pinterest might allegedly be purposely deleting accounts, thinking nobody would notice and thought wrong. Pinterest Help Center states that it uses AI in an improved content moderation. On Monday, moderators for the Reddit Pinterest subreddit pinned a new thread about mass bans, noting there isn't anything we can do on here other than talk about it. The thread has gathered over 200 comments in the days since, with people expressing extreme anger and frustration at their situation and being banned. Many have accused Pinterest of lack of transparency regarding the ban, claiming that they have no idea they could have done that warranted losing their accounts and being suspended. "I want my Pinterest account back. I find it heavily unfair. It was banned, and no matter how many times I appeal it, they don't do anything about it," wrote one Reddit user. I got no response on what exactly broke the guidelines. It just stated I should read the guidelines to understand their decision. Super vague. I'm sure there was nothing that could have gotten me banned, wrote one user on Reddit who stated they use Pinterest for content such as fashion, beauty, and recipes. Through at least 2 people reported they've been successfully regained access to their Pinterest accounts on appeal. The majority appear to have little success with the appeal process. Further, one of the individuals who recovered their account claimed that not all their content was there. In light of the issue, some users have been warning others to stop using Pinterest and search for alternatives on social media as they no longer trust the people are relatively able to access their saved content. Pinterest finally broke its silence after Mashable reached out for comment, addressing the situation publicly on Twitter. Unfortunately, there's little in Pinterest's statement about to appease upset users. We hear your concerns about the recent account deactivations on Pinterest. The company posted to Twitter on Thursday afternoon. To ensure Pinterest remains a safe and positive platform, we continue to monitor for content that violates our community guidelines. With accounts that violated content may be deactivated as a result. If you think your account was deactivated by mistake, please send us a DM. Unsurprisingly, Pinterest's statement on Twitter hasn't satisfied its disgruntled users, particularly considering the lack of access many have had with their appeals. Users are lambasting in response in their replies to the post, calling for Pinterest to scrap or at least overhaul its AI, artificial intelligence moderation. Others are looking to take it even further. After Pinterest posted its statement, a Reddit user began getting interest in a potential class action lawsuit. Many people have not only lost income from Pinterest, ad campaigns, or traffic, but also personal archives of irreplaceable photos and personal moments or personal projects or family photos. Pinterest promotes itself as a platform for saving ideas and conducting business, things that invest significant time and trust in. Yet recent actions suggest a pattern of arbitrary mass account suspensions, often with no functional recourse, directly contradicting its own marketed image and reasonable expectations of its users. Many users have already expressed interest in being involved in the proposed legal action. Some claim that Pinterest bans have repercussions beyond merely losing a few saved pictures. For a lot of photographers, artists, and stylers, it is the industry standard to present a mood board before any project goes into action, and the sheer amount of valuable information and references I've lost out on since being banned is hard to describe, wrote one Reddit user. I've had to postpone photo shoots and scramble to reassemble projects, years and years of curating down the drain, and multiple projects stuck in limbo. Why are all social media platforms imploding?
AI has ruined the Pinterest experience for many users and human artists by flooding the platform with low-quality, AI-generated images. AI-generated pins have become so pervasive that they often dominate search results and feeds, making it nearly impossible for users to find genuine human-created art, photos, or DIY ideas. Small business owners, like nail artists or interior designers, have reported clients bringing in impossible AI-generated images as inspiration, leading to difficult conversations about what can be realistically achieved. Many users have stopped using Pinterest entirely due to the influx of AI garbage, citing a degraded experience that prioritizes automation and ads over genuine content. There is a disturbing rise of AI-generated image and video content on Instagram, which includes both bizarre and intentionally deceptive posts. There are significant concerns that the ease of creating AI content will lead to AI slop, a flood of low-quality, generic, and repetitive content that clogs feeds and makes it harder for original human creators to stand out. A case in point of disturbing AI slop on Instagram is OnlyFans creators making fake OnlyFans model AI accounts, such as allegedly the problematic reality TV VH One Rock of Love Bus, and OnlyFans creator Britannia Razavi has made a couple of disturbing AI OnlyFans model accounts on Instagram.
Ba, 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 ba.
me remind you, this is the same highly problematic woman that has pretty privilege, and the bad behavior of influencers engage in can vary from understandable human error to highly unacceptable high problematic misdeeds. And in her cause, it's her getting away with highly unacceptable high problematic misdeeds. She allegedly was involved in, according to the router's website, a filing in August in a federal sex trafficking lawsuit alleged that Britannia Razavi, a 39-year-old former reality TV personality and porn star, manipulated and coerced financially desperate women into making porn for OnlyFans, and then stole most of the profits. Phoenix International, OnlyFans' British parent company, is also named as a defendant in the suit and accused of having a business partnership with Razavi that facilitated her exploitation of the two women. One of the women was a Las Vegas showgirl when the pandemic struck and made her jobless, according to the suit. The other was an immigrant who had been kicked out of her adopted home as a teenager. Razavi groomed both of them, finding them places to stay and making extravagant promises of fast cash and ultimately wealth and fame if they would create OnlyFans content under her management, said the suit. One of the women looked to Razavi as a mother figure. The suit makes a number of allegations about Razavi. She used the women's IDs and social security numbers to set up OnlyFans accounts that only she could access, then plied them with alcohol to get them to perform sex acts on camera, sometimes with others. When they resisted, Razavi told them, "I'll just talk to you again when you're drunk." The suit also alleges one of the women was raped while intoxicated, and the video was posted online. Reuters couldn't confirm whether or where the video appeared. The women's OnlyFans accounts generated more than $1.3 million in revenue, of which OnlyFans took its customary 20% cut, said the suit. The rest was funneled into bank accounts controlled by Razavi, who paid the women about 10% of their share, and not the 50% she had promised. The suit said, "So Britannia making these OnlyFans AI Instagram accounts is extremely shady to me, because a lot of her accounts have bot followings and bots automate the process of gaining a large following. Britannia brands herself as a social media content creator who's specializing in branding and licensing deals."
Okay, I haven't seen a single person talking about this really scary trend. Now, these are some posts that I personally have come across just on my own. So let's take a look. How do I tell the tax man that I made $100K with an AI OnlyFans model that doesn't exist? Here's another example. This person, I built her in 20 minutes and she had a bunch of men spend $9.99 on her. Do the math. Now, I've seen multiple accounts just like this. They all have thousands of followers. And if you look right here, they're actually selling a get-rich-quick guide on how to do this AI pimping yourself, as if exploiting real women wasn't enough. So let's speed run all the problems here. First, you don't actually know that real women weren't exploited in the production of this content, even though it is AI generated, because women still could have been deepfaked in the production, or the AI models could have been trained on real women.
And to add to that with more info as to the rise of AI content on Instagram, inside the booming AI pimping industry, Instagram is flooded with hundreds of AI-generated influencers who are stealing videos from real models and adult content creators, giving them AI-generated faces, and monetizing their bodies with links to OnlyFans, dating sites, Patreon, and various AI apps. The practice, first reported by 404 Media, has since exploded in popularity, showing that Instagram is unwilling to stop the flood of AI-generated content on its platform and protect the human creators on Instagram who say they are now competing with AI content in a way that is impacting their ability to make a living. According to a review of more than 1,000 AI-generated Instagram accounts, Discord channels where the people who make this content share tips and discuss strategy, and several guides that explain how to make money by AI pimping, it is now trivially easy to make these accounts and monetize them using an assortment of off-the-shelf AI tools and apps. Some of these apps are hosted on the Apple App and Google Play stores. The investigation shows that what was once a niche problem on the platform has industrialized in scale, and it shows what social media may become in the near future, a space where AI-generated content eclipses that of humans. Out of more than 1,000 AI-generated Instagram influencer accounts we reviewed, 100 included at least some deepfake content, which took existing videos, usually from models and adult entertainment performers, and replaced their face with an AI-generated face to make those videos seem like new, original content, consistent with the other AI-generated images and videos shared by the AI-generated influencer. The other 900 accounts shared images that in some cases were trained on real photographs and in some cases made to look like celebrities, but were entirely AI-generated, not edited photographs or videos. Out of those 100 accounts that shared deepfake or face-swapped videos, 60 self-identify as being AI-generated, writing in their bios that they are a virtual model and influencer, or statting, all photos crafted with AI and apps. The other 40 do not include any disclaimer statting that they are AI-generated. One of the bigger accounts in the latter category is Chloe Johnson, who has a verified account on Instagram and 171,000 followers. This account was deleted by Meta within the past few weeks. Instagram said it will take action against AI-generated content that violates its community guidelines, which state that users may only share photos and videos that you've taken or have the right to share, and allows users to report other accounts for impersonation. And it's not just Instagram either, it's other social media apps like TikTok's moderation relies heavily on AI systems to detect policy violations. These automated systems usually constantly flag human-created educational content as violating other guidelines, even if no actual violation occurred. Many TikTok creators and TikTok influencers report their TikTok videos, as well as their stories being wrongly taken down for violations they haven't committed. For example, massage therapists have had professional, covered-up educational videos removed for nudity or unsafe conduct, because the AI cannot differentiate between professional contact and inappropriate content. And another example is if you make a video and use non-censored words like the word killing. TikTok will take down your video for violent content, even though your video never depicted such content. Or if you make an educational video about the science statistics that back up your information in your videos, TikTok will remove it for so-called misinformation despite it being backed with statistics. AI models learn from vast datasets that can contain societal biases, leading to disproportionate flagging of content from certain communities. This can result in unfair penalties for creators based on their race, ethnicity, or other characteristics. The combination of bias and misinterpretation creates a risk of overmoderation, which can be seen as censorship, especially when it limits the expression of marginalized communities. TikTok claims 85% of rule-breaking posts are removed by automated systems and has recently laid off human moderators globally in favor of AI, drawing significant criticism from safety advocates and unions. Critics argue that AI cannot reliably replace human judgment and that human oversight is crucial for fair and accurate decisions.